Hello guys, welcome to my 7 guide. So let's go over who am I first and foremost. I'm an ex-professional League of Legends player and I play a lot of Deadlock now. I have over 1,000 hours and I regularly stream. Now 7 is my second most played champion and I have a lot of games on him. So in the last 2 patches, Valve decided to buff his radius on the lightning ball. So now the lightning ball is absolutely massive. It's +2 radius and it synergizes really well with items as well. Which means once you get your items and a good build going, the lightning ball is going to be enormous and almost impossible for the enemies to avoid. Now let's first go over the items and why. So 7 has amazing AD scaling weapon damage, and early game it's really good to buy AD items because it helps you clear minions, you kill them faster, which means you can trade with opponents more often. Spirit damage doesn't really help you very much. And also your scaling isn't as good early game with the spirit damage. So the first item you want to get is basic magazine. Basic magazines allows you to do a little bit more damage, like 21% weapon damage, and it gives you 26% ammunition. Having more ammo is obviously good in the laning phase. You want to have more bullets because you have to shoot the minions a lot for you to be able to push, and you also have to shoot the minions and then shoot the enemies, and you don't want to be reloading during critical moments. Now the next item you're going to get is Hollow Point Ward. Hollow Point Ward is again one of the best items for AD early game. It's a cheap orange item. And as we talked about with 7, you want early game AD items because that's where the scaling is. However, you don't really need AD items for late game. So weapon damage items are not necessary in the late game. Therefore, you're getting a lot of 500 gold AD items. Now next is close quarters. I think as a 7, you tend to fight close range most of the time. You don't really need to be far away, which means close quarters is actually very good. A lot of people won't think about this item because why would you want to be close on the 7? But most of the time you're going to be close, you're going to be stunning people. And if you're fighting long range, you're mostly going to be doing damage with your lightning balls and not your auto attacks. So close quarters is perfect for 7. After this, the item you want to get for orange items is Soul Shredder Bullet. It gives you a little bit of lifesteal, gives you more damage on amplification, on your lightning ball, on your E's, literally on everything you do, you get a little bit more damage. Now that's it for orange items. Now let's go over the green. So the green items you generally want to get on 7 for the early game is Sprint Boots. You get this in every character, it's just really strong. Then you want to get Healing Rite or Extra Regen if the lane is somewhat difficult. That's most of the time. You're going to have a somewhat hard lane. You need to have Sustain. And honestly, it doesn't matter too much which one of these two you choose. If you go for Healing Rite, you can upgrade it into Healing Nova. Not necessary, but it's an option. And if you go Extra Regen, well then obviously you won't upgrade it. Now Healing Rite is something you need in case the enemies are always going on you. If they're going on you all the time, you get really low, then you need Healing Rite. But if you have a kind of a little bit more safe lane and you don't go super low, Extra Regens actually slightly better. You just need to make sure that you don't go down to almost 0 health. Because in that case, you have to base. Now, other early game items you can get that are defensive options, you can get Reactive Barrier. It's extremely good against Wraith because Wraith can one-shot people. However, obviously she can't do that if you have Reactive Barrier. It's also good against Haste because every time Haste uses her Sleep Dagger on you, you activate it and you're going to be extremely tanky. This is one of the early game items you kind of get where you're like, oh, I can actually die to a one-shot. I can get all in. I buy Reactive Barrier, my early game is safe, and then I can focus on scaling. Now let's go over the mid game. So in the mid game, the items you generally want to get is Mystic Vulnerability. It adds a lot of damage to all your abilities, reduces their Spirit Resist, gives you a little bit of Spirit Resist as well, and it's super easy to apply the 7. It's the best character in the game to apply it. You press your 3 abilities, Power Surge, you hit anything, and boom, it's applied. Then you also want to get Extra Charge and Mystic Reach. These items, 500 gold items, very cheap, gives you some Spirit Power, gives you some decent stats, and Mystic Reach is the #1 item you want to have for this build. Obviously you want to upgrade it later. The reason for that is because the build is all about the lightning ball. And once your lightning ball gets maxed out, Mystic Reach is going to influence the lightning ball massively, and it's going to be super hard for the enemies even in laning phase to avoid it. An Extra Charge, it's not too important, it's just kind of nice to have, and you want to upgrade it into Rapid Recharge. So you're going to buy it anyways. Then after you have those two, you're going to upgrade. So the way you upgrade these 2 items, you have to either choose between Rapid Recharge or Improved Reach. The item you want to get depends on how the game state is. Improved Reach is better for teamfight. It's better for any kind of fighting. Rapid Recharge is better if you're jungling and want to farm up quickly. If you get Rapid Recharge, you have more 1 abilities, Lightning Balls, and then you can farm super fast. You're going to be quite slow on farming the jungle if you don't have it. Then at this point, I say you have roughly the core build. You generally want to get some defensive options as well. You can get spirit armor, spirit lifesteal. You can choose which one you want. There's metal skin in case you're against a haze, kind of needed in that case. There's enchanter's barrier, which you're gonna get if the enemy doesn't have anything that's dangerous to you. You don't need metal skin, you don't need reactive barrier. In that case, you can be, you know what? I'm gonna get enchanter's barrier. However, this option is very greedy and something you only get if you don't need anything else. And then late game, you obviously want to upgrade your spirit armor to improve spirit armor, but that's about it. Now, your mid game is kind of over at this point. You can start to get into the late game, and the items you want to start getting for the late game is Surge of Power. Surge of Power is extremely good because it gives you movement speed, gives you fire rate, it synergizes extremely well with your 3 ability, Power Surge, and it just does a tremendous amount of damage on a 3. Your Power Surge doesn't scale that well early game, but once you have Lightning Bolt maxed and you have 3 max, which is your second ability to max, then at that point you have 0.5 scaling, and it actually starts to be quite good. Of course, you're going to put your Surge of Power on Power Surge, and you're going to put improved reach on your 1 ability, Lightning Bolt, and that should be pretty straightforward. Now, all you want to do at this point is get even more damage. So you want to get escalating exposure, synergizes super well with 7 because you're always applying spirit damage. So it's one of the fastest here to scale it up. Because your 3 ability does spirit damage and your 1 ability does spirit damage. I mean, all your things do, right? But like, you're always shooting somebody or you're hitting somebody with a lightning bolt at all times. Then after you have all these items, you have pretty much your core build. You don't need anything else. At this point, there's a lot of options. You can choose to get even more damage, and let's say you want to be shooting people down. You can get burst fire. This item is a little bit unorthodox, but it gives you 42% fire rate. Your fire rate is going to be absolutely crazy, and it gives you movement speed. This works extremely well with Surge of Power, and it's just going to allow you to melt people down with shooting. Now, if you don't want to be the one shooting people down, and you want to be a little bit more calm and just focus on controlling the map, controlling the fight, kind of seeing, oh, I want to deny the enemy this location, I want to zone control them. You can get improved cooldown into superior cooldown, and you want to put it on your lightning ball. Superior cooldown is amazing because at this point your lightning ball has very low cooldown, you have rapid recharge, you can shoot them out every 2.8 seconds, and you're just going to have more lightning balls, right? So massive lightning balls all over the place, controlling the map. It's extremely good. Then at this point, you want to start either getting more spirit power, or you want to start focusing on items like Leech. Leech is super good because you're already super strong. You have a lot of damage. It also got buffed a little bit with more spirit power and a little bit more damage in the recent patch. And also it synergizes super well with all your abilities. Often you're getting into a fight where mostly you will take some damage. You heal up super fast because you're one of the highest damage dealers in the game when you get to actually use your abilities properly. So it's just a fantastic item at 7. Now there is one late game item for 7 that you should definitely test out after the latest patch. I think it could be quite good, and that is Spiritual Overflow. This item should be extremely good now that it has 35% fire rate and has 50 spirit power. It got 5 more spirit power and it got 15% more fire rate if you manage to proc it. Now let's go over 7's abilities and which skills you want to level up first. So the first one to talk about is Lightning Ball. This ability was buffed in the last 2 patches and now has a +2 radius at max level. So you want to max your Lightning Ball first. The reason for that is once you have some items, you can one-shot a camp by just putting down a Lightning Ball and the camp is going to die. Now you won't be able to do it on the big ones, but you can do it in the small and medium camps. Next up, you want to skill your Power Surge. This ability is extremely good because it gives you shock damage, applies -15% spirit resist for 8 seconds. So you want to use this because it buffs your Lightning Ball and it buffs your normal spirit damage with Power Surge. Then the second one is not too important, but the third one is extremely good because not only does it give you +12 damage every time you shoot, it also gives you better spirit scaling and more jumps. So you want to level up Power Surge second. Then third, you want to get your stun ability, Static Charge. Static Charge is extremely good once you get it maxed out. Before that, it's not that strong, but it does help a little bit just to get it leveled up and get the +8 radius, which is going to make it a lot bigger on enemies, which is going to help you a lot in games. Once you maxed out your static charge, you want to go ahead and get Stormcloud. Stormcloud is your massive ultimate. You jump up, you shoot it, and it does damage. This ability is not that good. However, even though it's not one of the best abilities in the game, there are still situations where it's very useful. Now, if you want to have it a little bit easier and just find my build online, all you have to do is go in game, click on browse build, and then you go to public and you type wickd. After typing wickd, you're going to find the wickd lightning build, and all you have to do is favorite it by clicking this little heart. And at this point, it's going to show up in your favorites, and it's very easy to just find it and follow it whenever you want to. Super easy for you to do, and this should help you out tremendously. Now, thank you guys very much for watching my 7 guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.